Hello, my fellow YouTubers and subscribers, and welcome to my latest podcast, where today I talk about the fourth film in the original Planet of the Apes film series, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. So, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. We are well into the original saga now. This is the penultimate installment. There's only one more installment of the original series to go. This movie was released in 1972 and is directed by J. Lee Thompson, who will see this series out. Picking up 20 years after the events of Escape from the Planet of the Apes. In a futuristic world that has embraced ape slavery, Caesar, the son of the late simians Cornelius and Zira, surfaces after almost 20 years of hiding out from the authorities and prepares for a slave revolt against humanity. So, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. This one, plot-wise, sounds the most interesting of all the installments so far. It sounds like the most epic, and it sounds like the one that would really kick this series into gear and really just be an epic amongst all other things. But it really isn't. Oh, gosh. Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Man, this movie is so disappointing. God, I have to say, I'm so bummed out by this film. This movie is the most wasted potential of all of the original 5 films. This could have been the most epic. This could have been the best one because of where it led. This is basically where the story across the whole saga starts to come round full circle. We start to see the apes take over humanity and they start to revolt. They start to find their way and overthrow the humans. So that sounds great. The third act pretty much is that. It is the final battle where the apes overthrow the humans. They escape from the prison. They burn the prison down. And Caesar really leads his people to freedom. He leads them to hope of a new tomorrow. And I think that is awesome. You know, and certainly the final speech is where the movie builds up to. And Caesar's, amazing speech. Really well written. Brilliantly performed by Roddy McDowell. We're going to overthrow the humans, but we're going to overthrow them not by killing them. We're going to turn the tables on them, make them our slaves. And through the influence of Caesar's human friend MacDonald, he is influenced not to kill Breck at the end of the story. The third act is awesome. The third act is where it's at. The third act of this film is brilliant. It is very epic. The action is amazing. It is some of the most epic spectacle of the original series. That's why it's so sad that the rest of the movie sucks. The first hour of this film is so friggin' boring. God, I get it. It can't all be spectacle, and I'm not saying that the movie needed to be that. But there was nothing going on in the first hour of this film. It was literally Caesar being taken round the prison camp and then being tortured into speaking, and his adopted father Armando, the circus owner who was in the third movie, he's basically Caesar's father figure, as Caesar's real parents, well, spoiler alert, died at the end of the last film. And we follow them for the first chunk of the film, and then Armando takes the blame for Caesar saying something about the humans, and then he is consequently interrogated as the story goes on until he dies, essentially. Well, there's no point warning about spoilers. This movie is very old now. And I have to say, the writing here is not great. Armando's death is particularly rushed. Ricardo Montalban is giving a good performance, and the character is clearly more on edge than he is in the third movie. He doesn't have the same charisma nor charm that he does in Escape from the Planet of the Apes. But then the character's in a different situation now. He's being interrogated, and he's really worried about the truth coming out, because there is like this sort of polygraph lie detector or something that's about to rat out the truth, and he gets panicky, and then he starts fighting the guys, and then he just throws himself out the window and commits suicide. What? What? He just kills himself. He commits suicide. He doesn't even try to escape. He just kills himself. I mean, I know I should feel sad at this, but I really don't. There's just no weight to it, and I don't know what I'm supposed to feel here. It's just so lazy. And once again, Roddy McDowell is brilliant in the movie, but Caesar doesn't really get to do that much. And then by the time we get to the third act, what actually motivates the apes to side with Caesar. He doesn't give them any kind of speech, barely, and they just side with him. I mean, obviously they're all in captivity anyway, so they do have that kind of motivation in terms of overthrowing the humans. But even so, it feels very quick how the apes revolt. It feels like Caesar should have said something to get them to really say, right, we need to kill the humans. We need to overthrow the humans now. There's none of that. There's really none of that. Everything happens too abruptly, and then what happens in the first hour? Nothing. We just see apes getting tortured, apes being in captivity. Really, there's nothing. The only thing that happens, again, is the stuff with Armando and also McDonald. McDonald is the latest sort of human. I guess you could say he's an ally. He's a bit conflicted about what they're doing to the apes, and also conflicted about Caesar overthrowing the humans, but he's trying to keep sort of a moral clear head on this, and he discusses with Caesar about the implications of what goes on, and obviously it's not a very good time for Caesar at the moment. But McDonald is played by Harri Rhodes. He does what he can with the part. It's not much of a part, but he tries his best. Same with Natalie Trundy, who you may remember from the previous movie. She played a human character in the previous film, but now she plays an ape called Lisa. I think there's supposed to be some kind of romantic connection with her and Caesar, but it's barely developed, and she's just kind of there. All she says at the end is no. Like, no. She stops Caesar from killing Beck. Yeah, that's it really. It's very weightless. And same with Lou Wagner, who you'll remember from the first film, plays Lucius, and he's in this as another character called Buzzboy. I don't actually know who the character is. I don't actually remember. It's probably an ape character, but yeah. This movie is just so boring. The first hour, again, it's pointless filler. There really is nothing that happens in it, and by the time you get to the third act, while as impressive as the third act is, it makes the whole film feel completely weightless. And that's what disappoints me so much, is how weightless the finale is, because, as they say, it's not the destination so much as the journey. The journey leading up to the end climax failed completely, and the script was rubbish. J. Lee Thompson really should have done a lot better with this film. It really does feel like this is now getting quite tired and quite lazy. You almost don't really care where it leads. By the time you get to the end, you're like, okay, well, is this the last one? Because there's almost no point really carrying on the story, because now apes have overthrown the humans. Where's it going to go? But, oh boy, wait till we get to Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Oh dear, oh dear. And yes, the makeup is impressive, as it has been throughout the entire series. That's the most consistent thing about these original films, is the makeup. And the makeup is very, very good. And the music score, not done by Jerry Goldsmith this time, but it's still a decent music score. Parts of it are a bit strange at the beginning, but then when we get to the third act, the music really does get very epic. So I think the music was one of the better things about the movie. But overall, I would say Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, it's a very boring, mediocre installment. It's definitely the weakest one so far for me. I mean, some people quite like this one, and I can understand that. I love the third act. I really love the third act, but the rest of it is just completely boring. So I'm going to finish up by giving Conquest of the Planet of the Apes a 5 out of 10. Like, it's okay. It's not a terrible film, but it's not good either. It's just kind of a nothing film. It's the most nothing installment of the series. And in some ways, I think that Rise of the Planet of the Apes is a better version of Conquest. But we'll get to Rise later. So, that's it for my discussion on Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. What do you guys think of this movie? Please comment down below. Let me know. Please hit the like and subscribe button. And stay tuned next time when I review the 5th and final movie of this original series, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Oh dear. So, until then, thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.